going to talk about the number one gut issue that many people are experiencing, whether it be that you're struggling with a thyroid issue, or weight gain, or fatigue, or brain fog, or chronic bloating, or even autoimmune diseases. Because leaky gut is essentially when the intestinal lining within your gut becomes permeable, and when that happens, there's an array of symptoms that happen and occur, but then also disease happens. So, first I want to identify it. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to solve your leaky gut. I'm going to talk about how to get over it, what are the root causes of it, and what are the exact lifestyle, supplementation, and all that to get over your leaky gut issues. So, to begin with, we got to talk about what essentially is leaky gut and kind of go from there. So when you are dealing with a leaky gut, you are dealing with, an increased intestinal permeability. So I want you to think about your gut as like this, like it's intact. I have an image right here. And if you're listening to this, you'll kind of just think about like your fingers to this way and they're tight. These are junctions. So right here, this line is the mucosa lining. Okay. And then on this mucosa lining right here is the bloodstream, your bloodstream. So you have these tight junctions that are tight. But when they become permeable, they split. So this is where they get the term leaky. They become leaky because it leaks into the bloodstream now. Okay, so when we look over here, okay, so when you have increased permeability, the lining of your intestinal tract, intestinal wall, all right, becomes loose, allowing for undigested food particles, toxins, and microbes to escape your gut and enter your bloodstream, which then causes immunological high amounts of inflammation. All right, so symptoms and diagnosis associated with heightened intestinal permeability is anxiety, depression, insomnia, brain fog, chronic fatigue or pain, indigestion, diarrhea, bloating, infections, acne, and then autoimmune diseases. Most people, when I'm looking on a day-to-day basis, people that are dealing with chronic health issues, IBS, okay, leaky gut can be a root cause of that. All right, Crohn's, same thing there. Hashimoto's, same thing there. All these things are contributing to, all right, coming from a leaky gut. All right, so what are some things that actually cause you to have a leaky gut? Chronic inflammation. Okay, so basically, like from under eating, over exercising. I want you to think about your gut lining almost like a muscle. So what it means is that when you continue to stress, all right, like over here, stress, and then you continue to, inflame it, it begins to split. It breaks down like a muscle. So when it breaks down like a muscle, it becomes permeable, but then it becomes leaky. All right. So then infections and dysbiosis. So if you're dealing with like SIBO, H. pylori, Candida, these overgrowths of bacteria, that can cause, okay, a leaky gut. Okay, because the small intestine becomes overgrowth of bacteria, which then can, play into the mucosa lining, and then obviously mess up the junctions. All right, medications and pretty much anything like that. So NSAIDs, hormonal birth control, steroids, antibiotics, all disturb the microbiome, causing you to have a leaky gut. Food poisoning, impaired digestion, nutrient deficiencies. Your gut uses nutrients and synthesizes nutrients for it to properly function. So if you're dealing with, nutrient deficiencies, your gut is not working optimally, which then could cause a leaky gut. Stress and trauma. See, all these things are contributing to why you have a leaky gut. And so if we're looking at like a day-to-day basis, I mean, you're either, you're not eating correctly, you are dealing with, you're not sleeping enough, you drink alcohol on the weekends, you're, using all these environmental toxins, you use a bunch of ibuprofen for your chronic headaches. All right, you're eating not good food that has maybe food poisoning in it. All right, you probably have acid reflux, and all these things is contributing to a leaky gut, giving you a leaky gut. So these are everyday things. Okay, you're not recovering from your workouts, you're not eating enough food. Those all contribute to a leaky gut. So no matter if you are struggling with, you can't gain muscle, you can't lose weight, you can't feel good and have energy, that can be a root cause, can be leaky gut. All right, so I want to get into leaky gut and autoimmunity because a lot of clients that I have are dealing with autoimmune issues, but yet their holistic healthcare provider or obviously their doctor are not even talking about leaky gut. Okay, even though there's tons of evidence that are linked to leaky gut in like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, Hashimoto's, um, ulcerative colitis, chronic fatigue syndrome, and even type 1 diabetes. Okay, um, because what happens is when all these diseases obviously stem from inflammation. Okay, and then inflammation can happen when you have a leaky gut and those toxins flow into the bloodstream. So when those toxins flow in the bloodstream, it causes inflammation within the body, and it also causes an immunological response, meaning that now the body's attacking itself. And particularly in like Hashimoto's, it's attacking the thyroid. Okay, those are just some examples. And then we go into chronic stress and autoimmunity. So chronic stress can have negative effects on various aspects of health, including the gastrointestinal system. And this is not what's talked about. Stress can impair the gut. So obviously during times of stress, our body changes, and what essentially happens is it restricts blood flow to the gut. All right. So when you don't have enough blood flow, it can decrease the intestines, all right, blood flow. So obviously not enough nutrients are flowing in there, and then also can decrease digestive enzymes. Okay, so how this can do it is that chronic stress will then impair the gastric acid, hydrochloric acid in the gut. Okay, and this will then create an overgrowth of bacteria. Okay, so kind of what I'm saying here is that elevated cortisol levels, particularly over an extended period, so a long time of dealing with chronic stress, can suppress the immune system, which is in the gut. Okay, so essentially it goes into secretory immunoglobulin IgA, and essentially all these things impair the gut. All right, toxins and leaky gut. All right, heavy metals, pesticides, and persistent organic pollutants, as well as certain food additives. Okay, like um, certain types of sugars, artificial sweeteners. Okay, can negatively affect the gut. Okay, these toxins interfere with mucosa production in the gut, which is that gut lining from before. Okay, and the mucosa plays a role in protecting the intestinal lining. Okay, by forming a physical barrier, if you will, and preventing direct contact in between epithelial cells in the gut. So essentially, it's talking about how the mucosa lining protects the toxins that are trying to get into the bloodstream. Okay, so when the mucosa production gets decreased because there's just an abundance of toxins, all right, the intestinal lining gets exposed to it. Okay, and then obviously it leaks through, and then obviously causing triggering an immune response and then high amounts of inflammation in the body. Okay, so think about it, the toxins are destroying the gut. All right, so when we talk about like what are some testing for it, there isn't so much, but you can use a GI map. Okay, well the GI map you can indicate it through secretory IgA. Okay, if it's in the red, obviously high, low, meaning that there's some type of problem there that can indicate leaky gut, and then having zonulin is another form of indicating that you might have leaky gut. So these are two tests, but normally with clients that I have and the success stories I have, people that are dealing with leaky gut, I usually start out with correcting the microbiome as a whole and using supportive lifestyle, nutrition, and targeted supplementation to all help with leaky gut. And by after a few weeks, their issues are reversed and they're healed. So how do we actually support the leaky gut? We have to follow an elimination diet and anti-inflammatory diet. So we have to focus on things that are full of veggies so cook your veggies. Okay, we're going to focus on fruits. We're going to focus on meats, seafood, a lot of seafood, and we're going to focus on good carbohydrates, not processed. Okay, because these things all carry phytonutrients, polyphenols, micronutrients, and good macronutrients that support the body, support inflammation, lowering it. All right, good omegas 2, good fats. Okay, to help with healing the gut. And a lot of things is that you actually got to remove things out of your diet, out of your lifestyle that can be contributing to the leaky gut. So preservatives, synthetic dietary I'm not even try to pronounce that right now. All right, so and obviously like CMC, which are things in like mayo, dark chocolate, bread, spreads, creamy sauces, like getting rid of wheat, corn, soy, dairy. Okay, eliminating alcohol for a period of time, getting rid of gluten for sure, artificial sweeteners for sure. Okay, so a lot of it's actually removing things that negatively affect it. And so we want to also manage stress, obviously. Um, Working on stress reduction, getting more sleep, not always feeling so stressed out. All right, lip massages. You want to work on lymphatic flow, okay, within the liver and within the GI tract because it all plays a role there. And then hot and cold therapy to help with the stress response, recovery, and all that. And then treat for bacterial overgrowth if needed. So if you're dealing with any types of bacterial overgrowth like SIBO, that affects the intestinal lining. So you want to correct that head on. And then some supplements for you to use that are blended supplements that have the key nutrients in them, the key vitamins, and also the key herbs to help with lowering the GI inflammation while supporting the junctions within the gut. So number one is glutagenics, which is aloe vera and glutamine, both very good for the intestinal lining, the GI tract, and all of that. Next is mucosa repair. Okay, I'm going to link a PDF below under this. Going to tell you everything that you need to know for. You can click on this on the PDF, and it'll bring you right to that supplement. Okay, and you can use this discount code to save money. And so mucosa repair is immunoglobulins, so they support the immune system within the GI tract, making it flourish. And tummy rescue is zinc carnosine, which works on lowering GI inflammation while tightening the junctions, okay, within the gut. And then saccharomyces RDB is a yeast killer, so it's helping you get rid of any of the bad bacteria within the gut, okay, and keeping it healthy. So those are some supplements I use with my clients, do great, okay. And then essentially, yeah, if you're struggling with these issues, don't put them off. If you're struggling with fatigue, all right, autoimmunity, hypothyroidism, okay, IBS, IBD, any of these issues, reach out. Okay. Leaky gut could be a root cause of it, the issue that you're having. I solve many root causes, whether it be hormonal imbalance, thyroid decline, any type of gut dysfunction. I do it all, weight loss. And so if you're struggling and you need help, please feel free to reach out. Use the resources that I have within this YouTube, within, my Instagram, within my website. Use it all. If you need any help, feel free. You want to get your life back, get your energy levels back, and finally lose the weight and keep it off for good. This is for you. Hope you guys have a good one. Have a blessed one.